The kids are much more likable in this one. They're nowhere near as like crazy and hectic and like annoying in the short film.
What's going on in here?
Oh, nothing. We just caught your friend milking his dick in here.
You were coming while we were sleeping?
Fuck you and fuck you.
What is up, YouTube? Drive-By Movies here, and you are watching
Fresh Releases.
My name is James.
My name's Blaise.
And today we're checking out the upcoming film on Shudder that's currently video on demand, Kids vs. Aliens.
Jason Eisener's Kids vs. Aliens is the story of an all-time rager of a teen house party that turns to terror when aliens attack, forcing two warring siblings to band together to survive the night. So this film has been long in the pipeline, I think since the VHS 2 came out. It was one of the shorts originally for VHS 2, and this is the expanded upon version that was made for Shudder, as well as streaming video on demand, so you can access this film by renting on any VOD platform. We check this out on Amazon. If you want to do us a favor, go ahead and check this out on the Amazon affiliate link in the description box below. Anyways, James, what do you think about this movie?
So yeah, this really caught me off guard because I went in just hearing that it's Jason Eisener's new film. I first found out about it a few months ago at Beyond Fest. It was playing there. And even though I haven't seen any Jason Eisener movies, I've just watched a lot of interviews with him. He's friends with a lot of directors. I was watching Upcoming and stuff, and I just always liked his style and editing and the way he was like spoken or outspoken with horror films in general. And I did love that short in VHS too. And I had no idea going in that this was an expanded version. I should have put the two together, realizing that he did an Alien movie already. And that's one of my favorite ones from that second one. Like it's not nowhere near as great anymore watching it, but at the time I thought it was like the scariest of the bunch, I feel like. But yeah, as a 75-minute movie, I definitely could see why they wanted to expand it out. But I feel like it works better as a 15-minute short. Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. I felt like this was a shorter film. I think it's about, I feel like it was
75
about like,
minutes, yeah.
I was going to say 83. Wow. Yeah. 8 minutes shorter than that. And it felt like, not getting into any spoilers or anything, but the ending did feel like super abrupt, almost like they hadn't like really written one almost. I don't know. It just felt like it just ended. But yeah, this is one of those shorter movies. I guess I don't know if that has to do with like maybe it's just easier for Shudder or something, or it didn't feel cheap by any means, but it did feel like they kind of either just ran out of ideas or they were like, this is good enough. So it's not even that expanded because it is a very short feature film.
Yeah, I think the problem with this movie was they probably had a short deadline, and that's where the problems were with this movie. Because the character development's there overall, and I do like the pacing of the movie. I would have enjoyed seeing some of those obnoxious kids get like torn apart, like at the party and stuff. That would have made a fun scene. That could have made a fun 5-10 minute extra sequence within the movie. Of course, I know stuff like that's like, you know, expensive, but I think one of the bigger problems with the movie is, though, it definitely had the money. It's a feature-length film. I'm sure they had way more money making this than they did making the short version of it. The kids are much more likable in this one. They're nowhere near as like crazy and hectic and like annoying in the short film, but like they just didn't feel believable with their set pieces that they had for their movie theater. And then they have this huge barn for a playground that must be in the middle of nowhere, to where like high schoolers are stumbling across it and stuff like that. Part like I wish was expanded upon, or could have used some expanding. But also the problem is that aliens were used so well in the original, and they reveal them quickly here, and they do not look good.
It did remind me slightly of like a Power Rangers like villain or something.
So I was gonna say, if they ever like rebooted or remade Power Rangers, Jason Eisener, I feel like, understands it and knows, like, I get what this movie's going for. It's very cheesy, over the top fun, But like, I really liked the more creepy aspect of the short film and the, like, you know, the subtlety that they use with the aliens. They come swinging hard within this one, and the gore is over the top and fun. But yeah, it did feel very Power Rangery, and just like I was just like, the balance just wasn't working for me. Like, I get it's trying to go for like 80s comedy style, but then also there's the horror aspect, and it is used effectively when they're first seeing the aliens, but then it just jumps and doesn't kick into the right gear. I felt like when they make it to the alien ship, that's kind of the halfway point of the movie.
Yeah, and I feel like this would actually be like a great little double feature, maybe with like something like Psycho Goreman. I feel like they had similar vibes, at least with the whole like it's an adult movie with kids in it, and it feels like a kids movie. It's weird because it's like made for a specific type of person, which I'm sure me and you kind of fit in that weird category of people that would enjoy this film. Although I don't feel like it worked the best at times, there definitely was a lot to appreciate on screen and in the course of this movie.
Yeah, these kind of movies, like they're very either or for me, just because there's movies like I Declare War, which it kind of reminded me with the young kid aspect and then the violent grittiness to it. But then there's a more fun aspect, like you said, with Psycho Goreman. I was also constantly thinking about Turbo Kid as well, too, with the soundtrack and then the use of violence and over-the-top gore, too. I feel like probably Turbo Kid's the best balance of the bunch, where that, even though that one's not necessarily scary, I'd say overall. But yeah, just this movie just felt overall rushed, and it not just because of the runtime, I'd say.
So if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've seen VHS 2, but if I remember in this short, there was like a dog, right? And a GoPro that was attached to a dog or something.
That's where the camera is the whole time. It's always on the dog at all times, yeah.
And that was omitted from this film, basically entirely.
Anyone who I've shown VHS to always gets upset with the dog dying at the end of that short, because yeah, the short film ends, spoilers for VHS 2, but it spoils with all the kids getting abducted and floating into space, and then the dog is dropped, unfortunately, and that's like the camera falls and the dog's bleeding, and yeah, it's a sad way to end the movie. And this one definitely goes the more comedic route and stuff. I was surprised as hell when they decided to kill a kid at the end of the movie. But like, spoilers now, like the villain of the movie, Billy, like, I know he dies at the end, but I can't even remember how he dies. The whole movie, I wanted him to get the most outlandish, over-the-top kill, and then his weird side girl that he's dating and hooking up with gets a more over-the-top kill than he does and stuff. So yeah, it's just like, I wish like some things could have been handled a little bit better. I'm not necessarily going to blame Jason Eisener. Like, it's script issues, and then like, you know, budget restrictions as well. But just like, I think like the premise is there to make a good feature length out of that short film. Just overall, just kind of bummed with the finished project. It feels like a demo reel for a feature film they were trying to get made.
Yeah, definitely. Do you remember that there was like a Simon Barrett and Jason Eisener, I don't know, script or movie in the works? Is that still, do you think that's still in the works? I feel like that I heard that story like years ago, and then I thought it was this movie. Honestly, when I started, I thought I was like, oh, this is the movie.
I figured it might have been because, you know, they both worked on VHS 2 together. Simon Barrett's still working on the VHS movies. Wouldn't be surprised if Jason Eisener goes back with VHS having a new movie every year on Shudder now. But yeah, I remember hearing about that. It was reported on Deadline, but just like a lot of Simon Barrett, Adam Wingard projects, they're announced for everything, then it just slowly disappears. But I know that Simon Barrett and E.L. Katz have a movie coming out this year. Like, I know like it has Samara Weaving, and an image just came out recently, so that's a finished project. I'm not sure what's going on, but I was excited when I heard about Jason Eisener and Simon Barrett working together, because I feel like they will work well together now that he's not really working with Adam Wingard as much.
Well, I think he brought on to the new Godzilla movie too, so that's
true.
Probably what put a wrench in everything, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see as it comes out. But yeah, I think that Jason Eisener is one of those filmmakers that I feel like came onto the scene like really big with Hobo with the Shotgun, and then just somehow the gas and everything escaped out of the room, and his career's just kind of like, he's been working on big things here and there, but it's never been as big as like a movie like Hobo with the Shotgun, where, you know, he's leading the charge. I feel like this is kind of being forgotten, being that it's on streaming VOD. I think when it gets to Shudder, it'll have a little bit of a resurgence, but I do feel like the problem sometimes with releasing a film onto Shudder after it's been on VOD is a lot of the, you know, hype kind of dies down and then it just becomes a Shudder movie of the week, because they do release a new movie every week, so you can get easily lost in the shuffle there.
Yeah, like I think their thought process is hoping for that second wind, and like, you know, of course you got to make money, so I get why they're releasing it on demand first. But the fact that it's only like 1 to 3 months, like it's not that long of a wait. Like it would be one thing if they were like trying to separate it by 6 months, because then absolutely rent it. We rent it because we're critics, I guess you could say, on YouTube. But if we weren't, I would just say let's just wait for her to watch it on Shudder and stuff. So, you know, I feel bad for the common crowd that isn't into making YouTube videos and stuff, and is probably just going to wait for it to come out on Shudder. But I can see it easily just kind of going through the mist and people overlooking it, which is a bummer, because this movie's fun. Like, it sounds like I'm kind of tearing it apart, but it is a fun watch, I'd say. I think I just went in too hyped. I was like, oh, Jason Eisener, and then 30 minutes in, once we heard that first bam, I was like, oh, this is a remake of that short film. Like, I didn't know that it was, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think like this is definitely worth the watch. I don't know about renting on VOD, especially because like, I mean, it wasn't the most expensive VOD movie. It's not like a $20 or $15 rental or even $12. It's only $7, but it is only 75 minutes. So it's got a dollar every 10 minutes here is being spent when you're watching it. But yeah, I think if once this goes on to Shudder, this is definitely a must watch. It's a fun time. It's a shorter movie, so it's not like, even if it is a bust for you, you know, you still got enough time to probably, you know, pack in a double feature here.
Right. A lot of people can watch this movie on the way to work on their phone or something. So that'll be a great way to check it out on Shudder and stuff when it comes out, I guess. A great way to help support the show, as Blaise mentioned earlier, rent it through our Amazon affiliate link in our description box below, and leave a comment letting us know what you thought about the movie.
And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get all of our latest updates.
And if you can't get enough of us here on YouTube, catch all our updates on social media links down below for Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, as well as our own Letterboxd accounts. So that'll conclude this week's episode. Tune in next week for a brand new video.